Yo, good morning, GMG. Hope everybody had a good weekend. This morning I kind of felt like recording everything that I do in the morning before the market opens, just to kind of give you guys a better, I guess, a visual, like to be able to see exactly what I do instead of just hearing what I do every morning, right? So let's just get right to it. First thing I do is I open up ES, right? I watch ES, this guy right here, ES, every morning before the market opens. Since I trade SPX and SPY, ES is the big brother, man. So whatever the fuck he doing, um, it's got it's what SPY and SPX are gonna go do later on, right? So first thing I'm looking at as soon as I open this, right? I haven't really looked at this all weekend. First thing I notice is we have an inside one, right? And before that, actually, before I even get to that shit, let me change these lines up for you guys, right? So honestly, yeah, the first thing I noticed, this inside one. The first thing I'm gonna do is take. You guys see how I have like yesterday's high, yesterday's low, and pivot and all that stuff. Like that's old, because I drew those lines on Friday morning. So basically, we'll update those. So I'll take this light blue line, and I'm gonna edit it. So the high of this, the candle before it, this is the one whose levels I'm gonna be grabbing, right? So like yesterday's high would be this red one. So the high for this one, 453250. So we'll go ahead and put 453250 for this one. And there you go. And so now we have yesterday's high on here. Yesterday's low. So the low of this red candle, 443850. And now we have low. And then pivot is usually I'll find the pivot on the 4 or 1 hour chart. So and I don't even get too it's not even that, like, a pivot always, you see how I always have a question mark next to my pivot, right? Because I don't know if that's the pivot. I'm just assuming, I'm expecting it to be a pivot, and so when it is, I leave it. This pivot right here I had since Friday. It held. Seems like a good pivot still, so I'm actually gonna leave it. Actually, excuse me. Actually, I'm about to move it. I like it down here more. And you can see, like, here's yesterday's high, yesterday's low, and then the pivot kind of sits right in the middle. It don't got to, but you see right here we had resistance, turn support, broke through it a little bit but held, and then now we had this thing right here. Then we had all this shit right here, and then yeah, it's a lot. So that's gonna be my pivot for now. Well, I gotta go play another song, like, instead of it just playing the next song. All right. So this is on the daily time frame. The hourly or 4 hour when you put a pivot. All right. Just kind of find somewhere where you noticed the stock had you know what I'm saying, there was an issue getting past this point, and once we did, we came back to it, and there was an issue getting past it again. So that's a pivot for me. All right, so let's go back to the daily here. All right, so now we have our previous day high, previous day low, and our pivot. Second thing I'm looking for is what we got, right? So we have an inside one. Inside one's real easy to play. On the daily, we have an inside one, so that just basically tells me be careful the rest of the day. Any trades intraday, right? 1 hour, 30-minute chart, like, their direction can be iffy, right? They can be going up the first 30 minutes of the day and then just straight drop. I normally don't trade when there's an inside one on the daily, because there's just not a direction on the daily chart. We're not going up, we're not bullish, we're not bearish, we're just in the middle. So just gotta be a little more careful. I mean, I'm gonna trade. I just, probably will trade less or smaller positions and whatnot. But on the daily, I got that. So my levels on the daily are marked. For this exact candle that's on right now, I used to write down the levels, but because it's only 8:18, those levels are going to change by the time it's 9:20, 9:30. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait before I start writing all these levels down, and then I have to change them. So anyways, after daily, I drop down to 4 hour. Pull up the 4 hour, and you can see just a little more information I get than the daily. Nothing crazy. And now we know that we have this like downtrend on the 4 hour. You see that we've been consolidating between our pivot and yesterday high, right? So these two levels right now, pivot and yesterday high, those are holding, right? But it's only 8:18. Again, by 9:30, these two levels could be irrelevant, right? Because we could just go up, break this, and then just be chilling right here before it's 9:30. So, but right now, those would be two levels I'm watching: the pivot and yesterday's high. They're holding pretty well. So, and when I say by watching, it just means like, let's say it was 9:25, 9:30, market about to open, and we were right here. I would be waiting to see if we can come back down and then break below the pivot and actually break below some of these wicks, like probably this wick right here. And then since the break during pre-market, like right now, all this happened overnight. Since we were not strong enough to get below this or above this, I figured when the market opens, if we do get above those and we happen to be around here, the move is going to be bigger. And then that's when I get my call or my put. So when I say watching pivot, watching high, is that if at 9:30 we're still around here and we break that pivot or break that high, that'd be something I'd be watching. Other than that, on the 4 hour, nothing too crazy, y'all. Alright, we can just see pivot and yesterday's high, playing high rolls right here. I will mark my levels. Again, like I said, I'm waiting until 9 o'clock at least before I try to find some levels. And then we got 1 hour. Same thing. You're just going to get a little more information on the 1 hour, right? When I go into the 1 hour, I specifically like to do this when it's like 9:25, like right before the market opens. The 1 hour chart is the one I'm looking at, not the 4 or the daily. The 1 hour, because it's the smaller time frame, right? I'm trying to scalp and add open contracts, so I'm trying to grab a contract based on the smaller time frame. So we see that the 1 hour is bullish, right? Like we have 2-2 going up. We had a 3 candle form right here, and then a 2. So we have a 3-2-2 continuation. We could keep running, you know, per the strat. We crossed this price target, so technically like all the way up here would be price target number 2, probably even yesterday high. But it's pre-market, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But essentially that's all I do every morning, guys. ES daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, look through them, find some levels like our pivot as an example. This is a strong level for me right now. And yesterday high was holding as, you know, I know yesterday's high is always a strong level to watch, right? Because we want to know if we got to see if we break that or if we hold beneath that for today. So those are those levels for ES. And actually, I'll come over here and I'll open up SPY. And you'll see on SPY, when you have the daily open, it don't show you anything like what happened after market. Nothing like that, at least on my chart. But if you open up like a intraday, so 4 hour, 1 hour, you see all these gray areas, like this highlighted gray area. And that's aftermarket. That's what happened, you know, all weekend, overnight. You know, over the night, like, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, overnight, or over the weekend. So for now, this is all weekend. This is representing all weekend. And then I'll just set my levels for that too. So pre-market high. Well, what's the highest SPY got in pre-market, which would be right here. High is 450.35. So I'll go ahead and put that. These are if you guys have seen, you know, you guys have been in the Discord and have seen like when I post these levels, pre-market high, pre-market low, and pivot. These levels, if done right, make trades stupid easy. So the lowest we got 446.8. And then again, pivot, I'm probably going to drop down to about a 1 hour right here, just to kind of see where it looks like we were pivoting, right? So I'll grab this guy, try to find like a medium middle, probably like right here. Yeah. I'll do this one right here. Pop, pop. Yeah, I guess I'll leave the pivot right there. That's fine. All right. So now for ES, we have our lines. For SPY, we have our pre-market high, pre-market low, and a pivot. And then lastly, I just open up SPX. And then SPX, all I want to do for that guy, because it doesn't show any after hour bullshit, it just kind of shows blank, right? All I want to grab for SPX is yesterday's high, yesterday's low, yesterday's open. So by yesterday, previous day. So today's Monday. Obviously, we weren't doing anything yesterday. So this will be previous day high. And so previous day on Friday when we were trading, the high was 45.39.66. I'm just gonna put that right there. Yesterday low, previous day low. I'll go ahead and grab this low right here. 44.51.50. And then the open of the last day. So right here we open at 44.82.79. And there we go. These are the only levels I put down for SPX, right? We're waiting to see if we cross above the high, below the low, or if we just sit around the open or pivot or whatnot. And that's it. That's it. I got my lines for all of them. Basically now I'm going to get down to actually writing all this shit down in my notebook. Picking exact levels, like per the exact number that I'm waiting for. So my entry, my stop loss, my price target, all that is essentially what I'm about to do now. But I'm gonna write all this shit down, and it would make this video probably take a lot longer. So that's about it though. For what I do in the morning, what levels I look for in the morning: ES, SPY, and SPX. If you find these levels, they will help you trade. Like it'll make it a lot easier. Right? These aren't entries. Okay, this doesn't mean that if we cross yesterday's low, get a put, or if we go above the high, get a call. These are just important levels that we're watching, and you can play in between these levels or anything like that, right? So if, for example, we got SPY open, you know what I mean? And let's say you're watching the 30-minute on SPY, and this is just examples, right? But like, let's say you're watching 30-minute, and you see how we're about to hit this pre-market high, like we're right up here. If the market opened right now and you saw this kind of come up, hit that yellow line just like we did in pre-market, and then turn around and turn red on the 30-minute, we see that it turns red and starts going down, then at that point you can either decide to go short and get a put and decide maybe we're going to go to our pivot at least and then turn back around and go up. But that's a it's a $2 move, and when you play SPX or ES and stuff, that can make you a nice little 50-60%, somewhere around there. But if you hit this pivot, right, and you sell like one contract and you had two, and then the other, it just keeps going through the pivot, then we test pre-market low. Here's where you would sell the other one, right? But if you have even more, we can cross that, and then you keep going, and then you're good. Like, that's how we use these levels. We rejected pre-market high. Let's see if we go hit the pivot and bounce off, or go below the pivot and hit this. And based on that, you can decide, okay, well, let's say you don't get the put right here. You wait for it to hit the pivot. It kind of struggles, but then we break below pivot. And per the strat, an entry was presented to you. So you saw like a 2-2 reversal or some shit. That on top of the fact that we got below our pivot, all that kind of helps you, gives you more conviction to get the trade, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much everything. I marked my levels. Now it's time to go ahead and get the game plan written down, so that when the market opens, I'm not trading on a whim. Everything's written down. I'm ready for anything and everything. So, anyways, that'll do it for this video. I'm not trying to make it that long, man. It's like I said, gotta get some shit done before this market opens in about an hour. So, you guys have a good one, man. I hope you guys do like the video and find it informative. If not, it don't fucking matter, because I like making it. Nah, I'm just fucking with y'all. I do hope y'all like this shit though, cause my plan is so that you guys can eventually be able to do all this on your own and trade this without me, right? Without me putting all of this up. I want you guys to be able to take these trades and shit yourself. But yeah, y'all have a good one, man. Peace.